Look, this is way more than just some Hollywood drama. It's a story about a blockbuster movie, two of the biggest stars on the planet, and a lawsuit that pulls back the curtain on how the internet itself can be weaponized. We're talking about some heavy allegations here: sexual harassment, extortion, and a full-blown digital attack. This headline from the New York Times, it's chilling. And it really nails the core of this whole thing. This isn't just about a disagreement. The allegation is that this was a planned, coordinated campaign to absolutely destroy someone's reputation online before they even had a chance to tell their side of the story. To really get what's at stake here, you gotta start with this number: $350 million. That's what It Ends With Us made at the box office. By any measure, it was a gigantic, undeniable hit. But while everyone was buying tickets, a completely different story was exploding behind the scenes. And that brings us to this number: $400 million. That's the staggering amount Justin Baldoni countersued Blake Lively for. A number like that isn't just about money. It's designed to send a message, to show the insane scale of the damage being claimed by both sides. So get this. At the movie's big premiere, the two main stars, who were also the producer and the director, didn't take a single photo together. That just doesn't happen. It was the first public crack in the facade, the first sign to the world that even though the movie was a hit, the relationship at its core had completely shattered. Let's dig into how it all fell apart. So, what are we actually talking about here? What are these specific claims? It's a messy case with a ton of moving parts, and it's easy to get lost in the noise. So we're going to break down the core accusations from both sides, plain and simple. Okay, so on one side, you've got Blake Lively. Her lawsuit alleges a whole pattern of sexual harassment on set, things like unwanted touching and Baldoni allegedly entering her trailer while she was changing. But here's the crucial part. She claims that when she tried to address it, his team hired a crisis PR firm to preemptively destroy her reputation. Now, on the other side, you have Justin Baldoni, who says that's all a complete fabrication. He claims Lively was trying to hijack creative control of the movie, and when she didn't get her way, she made up the entire harassment story to try and extort him. You can't get two more different versions of the same story. And this right here, this is the real bombshell in Lively's claim. It's not just about what may or may not have happened on the film set. It's about an alleged conspiracy to use the tools of modern public relations and social media to silence someone. This is the digital smear campaign that makes this case so unique. And check this out. This quote is pulled directly from court documents filed by Baldoni's own legal team. It just gives you a raw, unfiltered look at the level of anger and hostility behind the scenes. It paints a picture of a conflict that was absolutely brutal. All right, so let's shift gears from the he said, she said, and look at the actual legal battlefield, because the fight happening in the courtroom has been every bit as dramatic as the one in the headlines. Okay, just take a look at how this all played out. Back in September 2024, Lively makes a really clever move. She files a quiet lawsuit just to get the power to subpoena text messages. Then in December, the official complaint drops. Baldoni immediately fires back in January with that massive $400 million countersuit. But then, bam, by June, a judge just tosses his entire case out. And that right there is the key takeaway. You have this huge legal asymmetry. As it stands right now, Blake Lively's lawsuit is moving ahead towards a trial. Justin Baldoni's is completely gone. That gives her a massive advantage, because it means only her claims are the ones the court is going to hear. And this is where the story pivots. It becomes so much bigger than just a celebrity feud. This is where it becomes a landmark case about technology, the law, and our digital lives. We're going to unpack the concepts that make this whole thing so incredibly important. First up, you've got this term, astroturfing. Now, Lively's lawsuit actually uses this exact word. It's the idea of faking a grassroots movement. The allegation is that Baldoni's team unleashed what they call a digital army to manufacture negative buzz. We're talking fake online comments, coordinated hashtags, maybe even planted stories, all to make it look like the public was organically turning against her. This is something the legal system has never really had to grapple with as a specific, suable offense before. And if you want to see the real-world damage, just look at these numbers from Parrot Analytics. Lively's public sentiment score absolutely craters, falling from 81% positive all the way down to just over 10%. And Baldoni's takes a nosedive too. The lawsuit's central question is, was this a natural public reaction to a scandal, or was it an engineered collapse?
Okay, the next critical idea here is a legal term called spoliation of evidence. It's a fancy phrase for a pretty simple concept. You are not allowed to intentionally destroy evidence when you know or even think a lawsuit is on the horizon. In our digital world, this is becoming a massive legal minefield.
And this is where that concept gets very real in this case. It came out in court that Baldoni's team was communicating using Signal, an encrypted messaging app, and they had the auto-delete feature turned on. That means messages that could have been the smoking gun for either side are now gone forever. And you have to understand, in a courtroom, the act of deleting evidence can sometimes look even worse than whatever was in the messages to begin with. So let's pull the lens back for a second, because the ideas being fought over here have consequences that go far, far beyond one movie set. This case is forcing our legal system to confront new questions that honestly affect every single one of us who lives online. What this case really boils down to are these landmark questions. Is a digital smear campaign something you can actually sue over? What should the punishment be for deleting digital evidence? And maybe the biggest question of all, can you hold someone legally responsible for weaponizing a social media algorithm to ruin your life? The answers to these questions are going to set huge precedents.
And this isn't just an American issue, not at all. In countries like Kenya, for example, where these kinds of digital misinformation campaigns are used all the time in politics, in business, people are watching this case very, very closely. A verdict here could give them a whole new legal playbook for going after these kinds of attacks under their own laws.
And that's really what we're left with. This case isn't just about two celebrities. It's about the new rules of conflict in the 21st century. It's a preview of the kinds of legal fights we're going to see more and more of as our lives and our battles move online. So the real question is, when the weapon is an algorithm and the damage is digital, what does justice even look like?